first. So they gave, really good pointers and they led everyone through it. It was really, it's really good.
Yeah, Calcasieu's still wanting to do electronic payments, so they've delayed their enrollment some, but that's okay. That's good. Um, so yeah, I'll give a little bit of a plug. So we've had over the last time I checked, there was over 700 enrollments on the system. I was kind of proud about that. Um, so anyway, so we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to improve communication and also give leaders just a little bit more, um, control to see what's going on. And so we'll see. We'll see how that works out. But and then Kayla's joined us too. Looks like we got a small group post Ida. It was kind of anticipated. So hey, Kayla, how are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
All right. We'll get started. I know we got a small group, but I know people trickle in typically, but this is okay. This will be helpful for just a quick activity we're going to do before Kayla gets started tonight with us or joining us. Just a quick overview of our agenda. We're gonna do a brief overview of just some upcoming opportunities for our leaders, and then we'll do a quick Let's Connect icebreaker. Kayla's going to share with us some tips, innovative tools to engage youth. She had a presentation recently on meeting Mania, so I asked her to kind of give us some summary of that and share some resources with us. And then we'll move into some idea sharing, resource sharing before closing out the evening. So just quick update. So National 4-H Volunteer Conference, I know there are a lot of people are electing not to go, and that is totally fine. Just a reminder that there is a virtual as well as an in-person option. So if you want to register on their website at the 4-H VCOS site, we do have the scholarship application. We had a leader reach out and just offer some funds as well as the state office. So even if you're looking to attend virtually, you don't want to do the in-person due to the situations surrounding COVID, I totally understand. But if you want to fill out that application and just get your way, at least consider get your way paid, feel free to take a screenshot of that. But I'm going to send the slides out so you can get that link later on once I send out the recap. Also, we are working on the 4-H Volunteer Conference. I'll give a shout out to Ms. Ruby. He's been kind of gung-ho and helping Susan as well. I'm trying to do my part also. So we are still scheduled to have it at Camp Grant Walker. We have not told that we cannot. So we are moving ahead with that one-day event, being safe, social distancing, and then also making sure that our leaders have an opportunity to learn and connect, but in a safe environment. And so if you are still interested in attending and have not completed that interest form, I just encourage you to do so when you have a free moment. Also, we have regional volunteer conversations. The next one's coming up in November, so not for a while, but do get on the mailing list if you have not already. And I will send this link out as well in an email. And interestingly enough, the November 30th sessions on innovative ideas for clubs. So it'd be great if we had a representation from our leaders, which we often do, just sharing some of the ideas from this session and previous sessions and some of the cool things that y'all do across the state within the club environment. All right. And keep your date open, January 15th. We're going to get those master volunteer portfolios done and together in an in-person environment. But if you want to plug in virtually, we're going to set that up as well. January 15th, one-day event. If you're interested in doing that and getting that master volunteer portfolio worked on, whether you're just starting, very little about it, or you're trying to finish one of the different levels, please make sure to complete that interest form so you can get information as it becomes available. All right, so we got it. Actually, this is going to work out very nice. We're gonna do a quick little breakout this afternoon. So a little bit different. I'm going to move y'all into actual breakout rooms. I want you all to talk to each other and just connect. We don't get an opportunity to do that in a virtual world. So I want you to learn your partner's name, which many of you know each other, so that's not so difficult, but where we live in the state, program area or club that they're representing, how long they've been with 4-H, and just a tip they want to share with engaging youth in 4-H programming. So I'm going to share this in the chat, and then what I'm going to do is move y'all into rooms. And if you forget one of these questions, that's okay. Just, learn about the person that you're connecting with, what they do in 4-H, how long they've been with 4-H, and then sharing a tip for engaging youth in 4-H programs. So give me a moment. So I'm going to do 3 rooms, and hopefully this will work out. And give yourself just a few minutes, about 4 or 5 minutes just to chat here. All right, here we go.
If y'all are talking, I can't hear y'all.
I think she brought us all back to we left our little, she pulled us out of our special room and brought us back to the big room.
Okay.
Yeah, we got pulled out quick.
That always makes me comfortable. I always like to watch people's faces and audio when I pull them back in. But I don't know. Okay, so who wants to tell me about their partners? So who they learned about in their room, if you want to share out. Want to start with Miss Ruby's room, maybe?
Okay, I can tell you about Danielle Ray. She is coming into 4-H on a program that's very interesting. She lives in Sulphur, which is not far from me, so I'm excited to meet her and hear about what she does. She was in the line at Popeyes, so she had a little bit of a challenge, but she did great. So she's going to be great at balancing and juggling things. She's really good at that. She's a crisis counselor, and her club is a HATS club, Healing After Trauma for Kids, or traumatic situations. I was trying to write it really quickly, but she's going to use 4-H, the curriculum, the part that gets kids mental awareness, mental health, leadership, all those things. She's going to draw that into her program, and she has a pot-bellied pig.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Happy to have you as well, Danielle. What about,
Thank you.
Yeah, interesting. And I appreciate your multitasking. Kayla, do you want to talk? Sorry, Danielle? She's saying, okay.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're great. That's fine. I'll just say I've been on a research conference all week, and I'll just say there's been multiple times where people have been in their cars driving while participating. So we've learned this. Kayla, you want to go next with your group?
Sure. I had the opportunity to meet Brooklyn, and she is starting a 4-H program at the charter school that she's involved with. She's a teacher and she's in leadership there, and it's going to be at EBR, which is awesome. She's got 2 good agents. They're going to be, well, she said they've already been helpful. So it's going to be great to have another program in that parish. And she is multitasking as well. She is a mama, busy mama, got 3 babies or 4 babies. So really glad that she's on this call too.
Great. Glad to have you, Brooklyn. And then we did get Christopher joined us. I don't know, Christopher, you want to just say hello and where you're at? It's okay if you don't want to. But...
Sure. Yeah, my name's Christopher Bro. I also work with Danielle with Louisiana Spirit. I'm a crisis counselor, and we're working with the Healing After Trauma Skills program. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I apologize for being late to the webinar. I was having connectivity issues. Yeah, I'm excited to be working with 4-H.
Awesome. Glad to have you. And Jay joined us. I don't know if you want to say hello, Jay, real quick.
Hi, Megan. Yes, sorry I was late. I had connectivity issues as well. I'm Jay Garian. I'm a volunteer from West Baton Rouge. I've been volunteering in the Louisiana 4-H Youth Development Program for 25 years now. And so I have moved more into mentoring and helping other volunteers get started because I don't have direct contact with students anymore. But I love 4-H. And I love helping wherever I can.
Awesome, thanks. And Susan said as well, so she's open to mentoring, also shared in the chat. So lots of opportunity with some new leaders. Great. Well, I appreciate y'all participating in that and connecting with each other. So we're going to move on. So Kayla has joined us today, and Kayla is a former 4-H agent. I know many of you know this, but she's currently serving as the events coordinator with the state office, and she's got a really big job. She had a session on meeting Mania and innovative tools for engaging youth. So I asked her to give us some tools and tips from that particular session. So she's joining us this evening and going to share her ideas and knowledge with us. So I'm going to start presenting and let Kayla kind of take it away from here. Let me know what you
I get the pleasure working with Megan on lots of projects, and even more so now. But I appreciate you inviting me to this meeting because it's really cool to get to know some new volunteers and new people that are going to be developing programs for 4-H. Tonight, I'm doing a little bit of multitasking. I have two hats, the mom and the state staff. I just dropped my oldest off at his second junior leader meeting in his parish 4-H office, and I think he was freaked out a little bit thinking I was going to stick around. And so I am in this little parish office with the door shut and doing my business so that I won't interfere with him. But what I'm going to share with y'all tonight, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is just a presentation that Karen, Shirley, and I actually did at LAE. Oh, I'm sharing my calendar, huh?
You're sharing your slides. You're just not in presenter mode yet. They look great. There they are. They're
all right.
Look good. Yep.
So this is just, we focus more on team program. And like Megan said, when I was a parish agent, I had team programming was my favorite. Karen Shirley, the Wynn Parish agent, and I worked a lot on a lot of projects together. But so we were just putting together some of the ideas that we used that worked for our team programming. But I think some of these ideas you can use in any age group. Just kind of the way we worked out things were anytime we were going to do any type of program, whether it's for younger 4-H members or for our teens, youth voice was always very important. And a lot of times we listened to them to decide on the locations that were best for them, meeting topics that they were interested in, themes, activities, what they wanted to hear about, what they wanted participated in. And of course, with all of those activities, we had to make sure that we had a great and strong volunteer support. So some of these monthly activities I'm going to share with you, I can't tell you how much I had to rely on volunteers. And then for a typical junior leader or team meeting that we had, our meeting structure simply was, we had that 30 minutes of food and fellowship. Those kids knew that we were going to offer food for them. And they were going to come and hang out. And then our traditional meeting time was an hour. Of course, that 4-H tradition of flags and pledges and opening. But then we always tried to involve some type of icebreaker or game. And then our youth leaders or officers would have a topic that they really focused on. And then we always ended our meeting with some type of service, whether it was them collecting an item for a service group or putting together some kind of kit. And another thing that I'm a strong believer in is parish collaboration. Work smarter, not harder. Just because you're a volunteer, just because you may be a club leader, you don't have to do this alone. Find a partner, find a neighboring school that you can collaborate with to share ideas, have meetings together, camps, workshops. I can't tell you how many things that Wynn Parish and Jackson Parish did together that just really strengthened both of our programs and relieved a lot of stress for both of us. And then another thing is just really making those meetings, whether it's for your younger 4-Hers or for your high school level, fun and engaging. They don't want another meeting to go to where they feel like they're going to be stuck in a classroom. So I always try to get them up, moving around, have music playing, just make it something that's different and not really, they didn't really know what to expect each month. Some of the other things that we shared in this workshop were games. So I really can't show y'all how to do this, but it was so much fun when we did this workshop to see agents acting like teenagers again and participating in all these different activities. Next thing I'm going to talk to you about, or just kind of go over, and you can chime in if you want to, are just some monthly themes that worked really well for what I did in Jackson Parish, some things in Wynn Parish. Some of these ideas I've actually used with our executive board. Just a fun way to introduce 4-H was a tacky tourist theme. Getting kids to dress up based on a theme just really worked. They loved it. You can see the picture. That was probably just half of the kids that night. But just taking them on a tour to tell them the service opportunities, the leadership opportunities, the meetings that they could participate in, the camps, popping up suitcases and showing them all these different meeting locations they could go to. Scavenger hunts are always fun. I really could not encourage you more to collaborate with local businesses to do these kind of things. Especially if you create scavenger hunts where they're going to go around throughout your town and taking pictures in front of businesses, you always want your community to know that teenagers are on the loose. So this was just a fun scavenger hunt night we did. Actually, one of my club leaders, she was, and still is, very creative in coming up with themes based on, or clues based on TikTok music. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with TikTok and the little music intros, but she was great in tying in those theme songs to 4-H clues. And then a movie night. I think one tool that any school club, any parish program could invest in is one of those huge inflatable screens, because you can use it for multi-purpose events. We purchased one, and I think it was like $169. And this was a movie night we did right, I guess it was probably the first month that we got the green light to go back into the 4-H programming face-to-face. So we were able to have a junior leader meeting having Jumanji as the movie choice that night on this huge screen on a baseball field. And you were able to spread out the kids, but it was just great to be back together. Decade themes, once again, costumes. It's just a great way to get the kids involved. Bring back the 80s night. So these kids dressed up in all their parents' rock t-shirts. It was just fun to watch them and try to live out the 80s. But also we connected it to a community service project, and our goal was to collect 80 items. I think this particular one was for Teen Challenge. So they had to bring in 80 hygiene items, I think it was like toothpaste and toothbrushes. I know that Karen in Wynn Parish has used a 50s theme and taken her 4-H members to the local senior citizen center, and they had kind of like a 50s theme prom for senior citizens. Some of her youth were talented and could play the piano, so it was just a great way to build relationships with older adults in their community. Christmas theme, easy, fun. You could do these type of events for your younger 4-Hers. We used a theme called Fa La 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 La, where our kids were encouraged to dress up based on their favorite Christmas carol. So in this picture, our senior officer, she was, I think it was a Christmas song, but Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. And then I just used a Christmas tree that had Jolly Ranchers on it. And my theme choice was Holly Jolly Christmas. I think it was $150 worth of donations given for our club programming that month. So my volunteers and I went on a shopping spree to Five Below. I don't know how many of you have those little stores. It's kind of a more expensive Dollar Tree. And we bought $150 worth of Christmas presents and just wrapped them and did a gift exchange. And it was fun just to see how these kids had the opportunity to open presents that were were typically like little kids' presents, and to see these teenagers relive some of their childhood memories. And then food themes are always fun. When we were at LAE, we actually created a soda bar, Italian soda bar, for the agents there. So you could do the same with your 4-H members, teaching them how to make an Italian drink. We had, I think it was club soda and flavoring that you can get at coffee shops. And they were able just to make their favorite drink, popcorn bars, burgers and bingo, pancakes and pajamas, and, good old Taco Tuesday. If you have club meetings on Tuesdays, is always fun. Does anybody have any questions at this point?
I had one. Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe I should have waited. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
But so it seems like with your monthly themes, like variety is.
Yes.
So I see, like, okay, that's
every month had a different theme. And I would say before I left Jackson Parish, I had just as many parents there as I did kids. They just wanted to hang out with their kids, which was so awesome. And then it got to the point where that was where I was building my volunteer base, because they didn't want to leave. And then it got to be, I had a couple of dads that were staying too, which I was like, wow. So dads ended up being, sorry to use this phrase, but they got a lot of 4-H honeydew projects. But it was fun because these 4-H parents, they were looking forward to these meetings, and they would call and say, what can we do to help you get ready for these club meetings? And so it may have been something as simple as, the parents grilling the burgers for burgers and bingo night, or buying those Christmas presents and wrapping them. I mean, every month I had a parent doing something. And then just a couple more, a coffee house. Even in Podunk, Jackson Parish, they had the coolest coffee shop. Teenagers, even little kids, love coffee shops. And so we were able to partner with the coffee shop. They did a lot of mission work. So the kids could actually bring blankets that were going to a village in Honduras. I think that's what it was. And then just some examples of parish collaboration. Wynn Parish had a Sonic that has a beach volleyball court. And so just to go have volleyball nights, that's one of the things they look forward to. S'mores and campfires. It's probably one of the cheapest club activities you can do. We made these little kits, so every kid got their own s'mores kit. So, that was when COVID was starting. But what was so great about this club meeting is, or junior leader meeting, was that campfire started a lot of discussions about mental health. I don't know what it is about campfires and teenagers, but that night, those kids really opened up and just really grew closer. And the parents were also there to see some discussion and some heavy topics that kids were dealing with. And that was before we even started promoting mental health awareness. And it was really hard too, because I don't want to say it was perfect timing, but it was perfect timing right before a storm had hit in our parish, where we lost a club leader to a really bad accident. So I think that club meeting really started opening the door for mental health discussions with our teens. And then just other Olympics. We just finished up the Olympic season. There's all kind of activities on Pinterest, mestivals. It depends on how crazy you want to get and what your tolerance is to mess. But we've had balloon, water gun fights, color wars. I know Allen Parish has done a slime festival. So, kids, just letting kids be kids is some of the best opportunities to grow leaders, I think. And then one thing I know Wynn Parish was doing was called a Tuesday. So she would have all these different upcoming events on this big Post-it notes. It could be service projects. It could be planning an achievement day or workshop. And so volunteers, her teen club leaders, would go pick one of these little sticky notes on an activity that they wanted to work on that would be done in their parish. So it's a multi-purpose event. You get that youth voice, you get the volunteer voice, and you get some help along the way. So it's a great activity. Any questions about themes? Okay.
I had one
Go
more
ahead.
too. So the s'mores campfire,
Uh-huh.
so you actually had a campfire, or did you do like the mini campfire version where?
Oh no, we had, in Jackson Parish, they have this awesome rec complex. And so we had developed a partnership with the rec complex. Pretty much, they built a 4-H archery trail, walking trail. And so in the middle of that archery trail, they had bleachers, and they had already cut down these stumps from when a tornado had hit. So I just went up to the rec leader, and I was like, hey, I want to have a bonfire. What can you do? And he built me this huge bonfire pit that almost looked like something you could roast a pig in Hawaii. I mean, it was massive. But, it was great. And I think they still use it. But if you ask the kids about that night, they always said that was one of their favorite nights. And then just a couple games I could show you, because like I said, the other games we have were really active. But you could do these in a club meeting, at school. I think you could do them anywhere, basically. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Ellen DeGeneres. She has a game show. I can't even remember what it is now, but one of her games she developed was called 5-Second Rule. And so you would have two kids come up. You throw up whatever the topic is. They have to hit a buzzer, and they have to name as many of those things that they can within 5 seconds. So here's an example. Salad dressings. How many salad dressings could you name, Megan, in 5 seconds?
Ranch, Thousand Islands, Italian, honey mustard, avocado ranch.
That doesn't count. You cheated. That's 2 ranches. But I mean, that's just simple little things. Making them name board games. Another one was iPhone apps. So, you think, oh, that's simple, but when you give them 5 seconds and you put on a buzzer, it throws them a little bit. And then another game that, and some of these games I've gotten from youth groups that I worked with and some past activities. This is a new one. It's called reverse charades. So you know how normal charades, you have to stand up and the audience guesses what you're trying to act out. Well, with this game, you flip it. You have volunteers stand up in the front and the audience acts out whatever the message is on the screen. So this is Disney charades. So one example is the movie Cars. So you have the audience, you know, driving cars or whatever to get your volunteers in the front to guess it. You know what? And it takes the heat off those kids who may be shy and not want to get up in front of the group so much. And it's just fun. Frozen. So I have lots of games. If you ever need any games, call me. That's what the rest of this presentation is. They're very hands-on. So we couldn't show you all of those, but if you, like I said, if you have any questions, need some activities, want to have a brainstorming session, email me, call me. That's
And
all I have.
And you'll share these with us, right? So we can.
Yeah. Yep. I can send you the PowerPoint, and if anybody needs more, I can give them that. And if they want some explanation for some of the games, I can do that as well.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I do, but I'll open it up real quick for others. Okay, I have a question. So earlier you had mentioned strategies for youth voice. So would you share just a couple things that you've done to kind of incorporate youth voice in your program?
Well, and whenever I would do teen programming and we would have teen officers, once again, back to coffee, we would have what's called coffee talks. And so we would meet up at the coffee shop in town. It was just a great environment to get them to brainstorm on what were topics that were important to them. So mental health was one of them. Because COVID, they were feeling very isolated from each other. So, you know, we tackled mental health. We threw some yoga in there. That was topics that they had concerns with. They were concerned about healthy eating habits in their community. So just really letting them pick the topics. You know, they were always like, Miss Kayla, we want you to come up with a game. Okay, I got your game. And then I would I may bring them, a couple of them in to a meeting ahead of time and train them. And we kind of do the same thing with our exec board kids. Let them brainstorm things that are important to them. Let them develop games. You know, their voice should be louder than our voice. This is their program. So you really need to cater, whether it's your younger 4-H members to your high school 4-H members. Listen to them to see what's important to them. Because if it's important to them, they're going to show up.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions for Kayla on things she's done to engage you? Anybody? Give people a few minutes.
Well, I want to know more about the group from Sulphur. I mean, that seems like a great group that we need to be partnering with on some activities. So we need their contact information.
All right. Sounds good. Well, they're quiet, but that's okay. Well, thanks, Kayla, for sharing. That's Danielle. She's still on, but she may not be in a place to talk. That's okay.
Hey, yeah, we're here.
I'm here.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, we are We're in Calcasieu Parish, so we're out of Lake
Okay.
Charles, and we're with a program called Louisiana Spirit. It's a crisis counseling program that's funded by FEMA, and we're overseen by the Office of Behavioral Health. And we come into communities after disasters to restore the community to the pre-disaster levels of mental well-being.
Okay.
So we do that in a few ways. We offer, and everything we do is free because it's paid for, of course, by tax dollars. So we offer individual and group counseling. It is non-clinical counseling. We're all trained by SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, in crisis counseling. If there's any deeper clinical need, we do refer out to free services. We also do educational, psychoeducational presentations to different groups, businesses, first responders that teach relaxation and stress management techniques. We connect people with resources, and right now, Danielle and I work under the Hurricane Laura grant. They're currently working on the Hurricane Ida grant down in the parishes affected by Hurricane Ida. Currently, the Laura grant is in 21 parishes affected by Hurricane Laura. And we do offer youth programming, and 2 of those are called HATS, like we mentioned before, which is Healing After Trauma Skills, and the other is ESSET, which is Support for Students Exposed to Trauma. And they're both curricula are public domain, so they're actually online. They're both evidence-based. HATS was created after the Oklahoma City bombing from clinical evidence and sessions with children after the Oklahoma City bombing. And then ESSET is based on cognitive behavioral intervention therapy, but it's to help kids deal with trauma. So what we do, there are 10 lessons each, and we are actually going into a few of the schools. We'll be having a modified lesson called Clovers, the Coping Skills Lesson Study, and we'll be going into some of the schools to do that. But we offer our services to any survivors, so we're more than just the youth aspect of it, but we're very excited to be working with 4-H, and if we can help with anything, please let us know.
Yeah, that's great. I can see several clubs, especially teen clubs, would be, looking into maybe a partnership or have y'all speak at a club meeting. So that's a great resource.
Christopher and Danielle, is it okay if I shared your email address in the recap email just with this group, or is that okay?
No, that'd be
Yes,
great.
my call.
Okay. Great. Sounds good. I appreciate that.
Sure. I don't have a way to, I'm in my car and I don't know how to chat with Microsoft Teams.
That's okay. I have your email. I have it. I believe I have y'all's contact info from the.
I think you do, yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it would be great connecting and collaborating. So awesome. Well, thanks, Kayla. I know you may need to step off, but we just appreciate you coming and sharing your knowledge with us.
Sure. Thank y'all for having me. Have a good night.
Yep. A couple things too I want to share that Kayla may just reminded me of resources that we haven't shared on these calls before. Give me a second while I close my browsers and share my screen real quick. Oh, I did this wrong. I have a resource there's a couple of things. So one thing that a little bit of a popular activity, I guess, last year was this digital escape room. So you could do this virtually, or you could do this in person, but like work in teams to complete these escape rooms. And so I actually have a little resource. It's just the website on how to build one. So if you're looking for opportunities to for youth to collaborate, to gain some team building skills, some critical thinking skills, and you want something fun to do that they'll be engaged with. I do have an example of a digital escape room that's been used in 4-H, and then also just the framework of how to build one. So I'll be happy to share that. It might be something, that takes a little bit of time to put together, but they can be really fun. And then you have that resource and you can use it ongoing. So I will share that. Something else that reminded me when Kayla was talking. So when we try to create like this positive atmosphere, so I'm a big believer in appreciative inquiry and creating that like real positive space. And some way of doing that is just to make people in that feeling positive or feeling happy, and s'mores are a way to start off a conversation feeling happy and engaged and sharing. And so there is this cute little idea that I had of, for example, when you're having to build like a virtual thing, but you want to give somebody something tangible, or if you want just a fun way of doing, s'mores and creating some happiness in your group. There is this fun little resource I captured on like tiny tea light s'mores. So you can have your tea lights and then of your chocolate and whatever. And you could even put together like your welcome packets and your s'mores kit. So that was kind of some idea that I had worked on for a particular project. I thought it was fun, but like I said, kind of helping youth and individuals kind of start in this happy place, or this, where they're engaged or they're feeling good and potentially able to share and contribute, to a conversation. The other resource that I will share with y'all after today is it. I know that most of you know that in my previous work, I did a lot of teaching and service learning, experiential learning courses and at Mississippi State. And so some of the ways that I would try to engage youth in these opportunities to like investigate issues and problems and that they cared about, but particularly, I did a lot of work with them, with youth engaged in social causes and in finding solutions to social issues. Is there's some activities that they typically engaged youth in, or we often use, like the Post-it notes, obviously doing some role playing, asking those, the who, what, when, where, why. So we're trying to get youth engaged in this problem solving process, but sometimes we need some, tangible things to help us get engaged. We need to maybe doing some brain sketching, some brainstorming, and then collaboration among these groups. But a great way to encourage that youth voice. And so connecting them and helping them be involved in that, that investigation process and that problem solving. And so I'll share this too, just as, you're setting up your programs for the school year, some ways that you can kind of encourage that connection, collaboration, and engaging youth in those in your program. So I will be able to share that. Next, we're about 6:51, so I want to have a little bit of a time for some reflection. So if you give me a moment, and I'm going to share in the chat. So let's do a little bit of a Jamboard session. You can also share out, but you can click on the link in the chat. And I know a lot of you are just on your phone right now, so you're not able to do that, but that's okay. You do have a microphone, so hopefully you can share that way. But what are some things, so new ideas that maybe were shared today, or just new thoughts you had, or something that wasn't shared that you would like to share of ways that we can incorporate some engagement, so some new ways to engage youth in programming, just some ideas that you have. So if you want to share on the Jamboard, this is how you share. You click on that link in the chat, and then what you're going to do is you're going to see this toolbar right on the edge of your screen. And then you just select a sticky note, right? And then you just type into that sticky note. So what are some new ideas? What would you like to do? You just type it and you hit save and it automatically shares. So let's do that. So I just shared that link in the chat. Do y'all have access to it? Yes. Okay, great. So you want to share some ideas that haven't been shared, you can share on the Jamboard, or you can open your mic and share maybe something that was said today that you might want to share, or something that you're maybe thought about that you're interested in trying. So go ahead and contribute. And then if somebody wants to just share openly on their mic, they can go ahead and do that now too. And I see Penny has joined us now too. Hi, Penny, how are you? And then we have somebody rearranging sticky notes. That's wonderful. So just a couple things. I love the idea of a scavenger hunt. We've got the s'mores campfire. Also, somebody shared, I love the idea of themes for meeting ideas shared tonight. Also, I know I'm going to use the tiny tea light s'mores idea. Great idea to get kids motivated. You know, the other thing I thought about that too is, and I don't, you know, you'd have to think through this a little bit, but like what a way to share cheer and joy with somebody. So I had to do a little educational activity around gratitude sharing or gratitude letters with youth. But what if you could share gratitude, like a thank you note, plus this little like mini tea light kit, and that's, you know, a potential little service project heading into the holiday season. So it's another thing you could do with that too. An idea that I had there. So lots of people on the board. So let's see. We have anybody else that wants to share?
Megan, this is Jay. I was really trying to do the Jamboard so I could learn how to do it, because that's one thing that I've been wanting to try to experiment with. But I just want to say this was a great resource meeting. Lots of great ideas. I love the digital escape room idea. I love all the teamwork ideas that meeting ideas that Kayla shared. It was just great. Just can't wait to go look at all the resources you're going to share and use some of them.
Awesome. And I'll share that the step with the digital escape room as well. It's just a little resource I found. We actually used it at National 4-H conference with the delegates, and they really enjoyed it. So that's why I kept that link for the successful one that they created to just recopy it. So awesome, great. Well, I'm going to go back. So y'all are welcome to continue to share on the board. We're actually going to finish on time today. I know times doesn't matter so much, but that's okay. Just also we're continuing to share resources for our leaders on the website and the VLA Facebook as These sessions are always recorded, and we do put all the resources that are shared in that folder. And then in the recap email, you get access to everything that's shared by speakers or shared by attendees as well. So look for that. And all of the webinars are recorded and they're posted to the Leader Classroom, enabling our 4-H leaders to watch them afterwards, get a completion certificate, and in preparation for their master portfolio. So we will continue to do that as we've done so far. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining this evening. We're the first time ever. We're finishing on time. That's okay. Post Hurricane Ida was kind of a goal, but because I know people are in different spots. But I'm going to share this quick evaluation in the chat. If anything, if you fill it out, it'll help us just to provide feedback for upcoming sessions. So what are some of the topic areas that you would like to cover just in future sessions? And then I would like to do more collaborative activities in future sessions. So if you enjoyed that and getting to connect, either if you found yourself in line getting food but having to or driving home but still able to connect with your microphone, please do. But we don't, definitely, if you enjoyed that part of this afternoon, let us know so we can continue to collaborate throughout the state. And thank you all so much for participating this evening.